I'm just here for the shots and fraud of it all. We did Thursday. We did yesterday, which was yesterday, it was less than 24 hours ago, with Ada Zebra. We talked about DEF CON, but this is our normal show. And today we don't have a guest because Ada was our guest yesterday. So we're gonna have Brandon taking over today. More tempting of the demo gods. It takes how long it takes, and feel free to commiserate in chat and tell him what he's doing wrong. I promised Brandon personally that Dev and I were gonna hold back our heckling of him. However, Dev and I are allowed to heckle. Chat is also allowed to heckle because Brandon will be paying attention to his work. But I made Dev. I called off the attack dogs for today, so Brandon could concentrate on what he's doing. And I actually, come to think of it, I don't know what the hell Brandon is doing today, so I'm going to throw it over to him. Brandon, this is your show today. Go ahead.
Right on. Yeah, you act like I know what I'm doing today.
And by the way, this one is not going to be conducive to like Spotify, right? Like I'll probably still upload it to Spotify, but you won't actually be able to see it. So if you're listening and be like, oh, this is a visual show, if you got a great imagination, stick around. And, you know, if not, go listen to something else. Anyway.
Well, that's a good point.
Thank you.
So I'll start off trying to just walk through what my intention is going to be and kind of tell the story, and then we'll kind of walk through the story. Also, for the record, you told Dev to be nice, but I don't think he signed anything, so I don't think he's legally obligated to be kind.
We'll be see. Nice to Brandon today. We have plenty of time to
until I get a be nice to Brandon t-shirt. I don't know what that means.
Be nice to Brandon t-shirt. Go ahead, Brandon.
He's sensitive. So today we're going to walk through a lab that I put together. So we've got a couple Windows domain controllers. We've got a Kali VM. And we're going to play around with a little bit of the difference between how 2012 R2 operates and how 2019 operates, specifically in speaking toward attacking a domain controller through coercion. So what that basically means is via the Kali machine, or honestly any machine connected to the domain, you can convince the domain controller to speak back to what will be an attacker's virtual machine or an attacker's machine in this case. And honestly, the reason this works is just because of the way the domain functions in general. So a domain joined computer is going to need that authentication to occur periodically for things like SMB connections, which is something we're going to attack, LDAP itself, and then DFS. So two of the tools that we're going to use today to convince the domain controller to talk back to us and send us the hash of the computer account. I'm sorry, there's a gnat right there in my face. Jerk. So we're going to use a tool called Coercer, which is kind of become the Cadillac. It's essentially the brainchild that came out of some of the Petit Potam tools. The printer bug, the stool sample was the name of that tool, and DFS Coercer. So that's the other one that I've got loaded up on the Kali VM. And so we're going to see those today. And if I can kill this thing, I'm going to be so happy.
So Brandon,
going up my nose. All right, what's up?
Thanks for that information. But investigative chick was saying if you can make the screen a little bit bigger.
I got it. I know. Don't worry about it. I changed it on screen now. We just won't see the chat on screen. But if you're in here, you can see the chat anyway. That's just for the video after the fact. That's less important than what Brandon's doing. So investigators chick said it was better.
Awesome. Okay. Well, most of it's going to be in here anyway. So that's the text. If that doesn't look good, then let me know, because then we'll have some problems, and I can increase the size. I can enhance
zoom.
So yeah, let me know, or somebody let me know if that's the deal. So yeah, so what we're going to attempt to do, and actually I guess I could take a quick step back, is the whole theory and the inspiration behind this attack specifically, and me wanting to prove to myself that I could do it, is some of the work I was doing around DC Sync attacks. And so for anyone who doesn't necessarily know, is a DC sync attack is basically dumping the hashes of the domain. So you historically are going to use Mimikatz to do that. In this case, we're going to use the tool Impacket's secrets dump to do the same sort of thing. So it's going to dump the hash information of all the accounts. When you do the DC sync, the other cool thing that you can do is you can pull the curb TGT account, and then you can leverage that to impersonate any user in the domain. So it can be a pretty powerful attack. In traditionally speaking of a DC sync, you require an administrative user to do it, or kind of the new fun stuff is the Azure AD sync account has access to replicate replicate all permissions on the domain. It can do it, but old school ways, you have to have an administrator account, you have to have a domain admin or a enterprise admin account, or an account that's delegated those root permissions. The thing that I think is cool about that is, or that kind of flies under the radar, is domain controllers themselves also have that same access. So domain controllers have to be able to replicate. Therefore, what if I could pit one domain controller against another domain controller, have it authenticate on my behalf, and then essentially dump the hashes through that? So that was the plan. That's what I set out to do. I should go ahead and mention straight up, Trusted Sec article on this. Noopy was the one that had written that. I can get that in chat right now. This is one of the first ones I found.
I think I posted the one you're talking about.
Did you already get it?
Yeah.
No, I can't see it. You're not an admin, bro.
God damn you.
Copy link. Now let's see if it actually works for me.
There we go.
I don't know if that worked or not.
Yeah, it did, because that's the safe way to do it. Dev doesn't get admin.
I don't blame you. So
I feel so relaxed right now. I'm like lounging back in the cat, like I'm not doing a goddamn thing.
I can see you out of the corner of my eye. Like kick your feet up.
Oh my god, this is so nice. Why can't I do this?
So that's where some of the information for this is going to come from. So there's Bandrel. This is my boy. All right, thanks for coming. Bring the heat. You missed my introduction. So let's see. What did I miss? Requirements. So requirements to do this, first and foremost, as the article says, it's attack against NTLMv1. So the reason this works is because NTLMv1 is essentially becoming less and less secure the longer it's existed. One of the cool things that I found is there's an online cracker for this hash cracker called crack.sh. It's apparently hilariously down more often than it's up. So unfortunately, I'm not able to use it for this test. But what's up?
We should probably put a disclaimer. We don't know anything about the site besides that it's there to help crack NTLM hashes. So be mindful when posting anything in that site. We don't know what it does, how it operates, or he's using a rainbow table behind the scenes. Exactly. But that's about it.
Yeah, well, and you don't know if they're capturing stuff. I mean, that's basically good advice for putting any information into an online tool, such as ChatGPT, for instance, right? But we're not talking about that. So the idea was CrackSH could take that hash, it's going to run it through its rainbow table, and it's going to pull out a NTLM hash. And I don't know, Dev, if you got a good explanation of the differences, or like just a rough explanation of the difference between NTLMv1 or net-NTLM versus just an NTLM hash, which is more traditionally like a local hash that's stored.
So the NTLM, the NTLM hash v1 is really DES 3. Is it DES 3 or DES? I think it's actually just
DES.
Yeah, so DES is just basically taking the password, splitting it up because it has a character max, from my understanding, and then it's encrypting it both separately and then reconcatenating them. And then there you go. There you have your hash. So the problem with that is that when you have long string passwords, the longer it is, the more brute force it has to go through to try and do all the different characters. But because they're breaking it up that way, you actually only have to do like I think 8 characters, and brute force the 8 characters, and then it'll break half the password, and then brute force the second half, and you get the second half, second 8 characters. Then you have your full password. So that's why there's a security problem with it. If you look at the one that he has there for the SSP, you can see that there's a bunch of zeros, which means that this password is only 8 characters long. So that's problematic. But other than that, that's from my understanding, that's how that works when you're cracking passwords. So you really do not want to be using NTLMv1 at all because of that weakness within the password hashing aspects of it.
Yeah, and I should mention, and I don't know why that's padded like that with those zeros, because that should be a fully complex password because it's for the server account. So unless I screwed something up, the server or the computer account passwords in general are long, complex, randomized passwords. And so that's essentially why we need that rainbow table to throw it against, because we're basically at that point required to do a brute force attack.
Well,
and so you would throw this into your cracking rig, Dev, right?
Yeah.
And you said it was going to take like 50 plus days, right?
Yeah, it was 55 days using a single GPU. You used dual GPU. You got it down to about 30 something days. It's not exactly half because it still has to basically split it off and then do it. Now, the benefit of doing it using a cracking rig versus using a rainbow table is that rainbow tables are, when they're generated with a seed, or in this case, a challenge ID or challenge code, which is normally like 1 1 2 2 3 3 4 4 5 5 6 6 7 7 8 8. That's, I think, the default, and that's what most tools use that challenge token for doing these type of pulling back these type of hashes. So that way you can use the rainbow table to crack it, which would take the rainbow table, depending on your CPU, anywhere from a few seconds to like a minute or two to get back the data. Whereas a Kraken, it don't matter about the the challenge code, because or challenge ID. I think they call it challenge ID. I'm not sure which way they call it, but
Yeah,
the challenge. Yeah, the challenge ID, you append it, not append it, but you put it into the Kraken in the hash list that you want to crack, and it uses that to then try to computate and reverse it. So that gives you the flexibility of not having to be fixed to a certain challenge ID, whereas Rainbow Table, you have to be fixed to that challenge ID. Otherwise, it will not work. So the hashes that Brandy has on screen, none of them will work in the Rainbow Table because they're using a well, maybe you should go through that. Like the last set of data on these hashes is the challenge ID. So
yeah, we can do that.
So the 0336, yeah, that one right there, that's the challenge ID for that one. And the next one is the challenge ID for it. So using a standard rainbow table, it would not work because it's not using the default. Unless you create a rainbow table with that challenge ID.
And I think when we set this up, when we were labbing this up and playing with it earlier, I did go ahead and set responder to do that, so we can showcase that live when we do it.
Yeah. So Brando put up a good question. Yes, that's true when you talk about user accounts. When it comes to computer accounts, they do use a much longer complex passwords. You're right. I just never crack computer accounts. Normally I crack user accounts. So
one of the other things Bandrel said right before that too was
we'll do it live.
The difference between what we've heard at NTLMv1, v2, it's technically like a net dash. You'll see that sometimes too. Whereas for me, when you're talking about pass the hash, which is what we're going to do, technically we're going to do some relaying stuff too. But so when you pass the hash, you requires either the LM or the NTLM hash, which more traditionally is taught when you're doing something like dumping the local administrator account or any local accounts. You're running like a Mimikatz and dumping them from like LSAS or something.
Bullshit.
So what the actual attack is we're going to grab the net NTLMv1 of the domain controller. In theory, we could crack that with crack SH, and that would return an NTLM hash. And using that, we can then authenticate to to the other domain controller. So I think we talked about it enough. There's definitely some more caveats to this. We're going to talk about drop the mic in here a little bit too, which is a requirement.
Absolutely, yeah.
But let's go ahead and walk through this. So the first thing I'm going to point out here is, the difference between server 2012 and 19. So here's my 19 server. It is configured. Let's pull up the group policy because I'm pretty sure that I got this configured right. But I want to go ahead and check it. So this is all based on that NTLMv1, and the settings that we need is the LAN manager setting. So I'm going to scroll down here and see what I've got this set to. LAN manager authentication level is set to send LM and NTLM responses. I guess I should pull this up just so I can look at and showcase what some of the different options are. So I think some of the haters are going to immediately say, well, like, no one has this set, right? Everyone knows that NTLMv2 is required now, and shoot, people are even attempting to get off of NTLM altogether. That's the new jazz. But what's interesting is I can attest that I've seen at least 15 environments so far this year, and I can't tell you how many exactly, but not very many are enforcing NTLMv2. So
there's also backward compatibility with other systems that's been set up and pre-configured certain ways, and tool sets and stuff like that too. So
yeah. So the settings kind of go in order. A lot of times people refer to this in their registry entries where it would be set to like a 0, 1, 2, 3 all the way through 5, as having the options for some of these. But basically in this case, we're going to leave it so and just at the lowest. I believe we can go all the way through sent NTLM response only was a little interesting, I believe, because my interpretation of this was that the domain controller was still going to allow NTLM hashes to occur, but it seemed to be enforcing NTLMv2. So I haven't dug into that, so I'm not going to change it. We're just going to leave it here for now, and we'll play with that as we go. But so that's a requirement for it. Another requirement, which I don't have on this 19 server, but I did on this 2012. So what we're going to do is if you see this LDAP-S certificate, I had to generate a certificate so I could allow LDAP-S to occur, and then you'll see why that's important a little bit later. So LDAP-S needs to be available on your target domain. Let's see what else. All right, screw it. Let's do it. And I now realize that I only have one. Okay, I'm gonna have to run some stuff in the background, I think.
Oh, can't you do split screen on the top there to get another session?
Let's see what it's gonna do. 2 terminals.
Yeah, then you can establish another one on the top.
Gross.
I don't know. I don't use this tool. So
Fuck! I'm not a doctor.
I use a big boy tool.
I can't load a session.
I don't know. Never mind. Maybe
it doesn't work. How do I undo that? Can I do this?
Yeah. Just make sure you zoom in.
Okay, cool. We can do that. Enhance.
Yeah, make the enhance sound.
Enhance. All right. I'm going to do most of mine over in the other one. So in this one, I'm going to run responder needs to run with sudo.
So while you're setting up, quick question for you, Brandon: is what you're about to do covered in the free code that we launched for checking your Active Directory?
I don't remember if it checks NTLM or not.
Sorry about that.
Good question though. As we go along, let's see if we can find some of the vulnerabilities that exist in this. I mean, part of the problem is that it's not. I mean, with the exception of NTLM, it's not really a like a vulnerable config or like a misconfiguration, right? Like,
Correct.
so, all right, here you're going to see all my like Google shit talking, but
we could probably put in the tools just to flag, like, hey, you got this set in when you're set in your environment. So Jake, if you know if it's in there or not, can you put that in the chat? And if it's not, we probably can add it.
You
Anyway,
idiot!
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jake. Brandon.
you're right. Okay, so I guess I should mention what's happening over here. So I've kicked off. Let me just close this. All right, so I'm running responder. So responder basically is a listener. It's setting up a man in the middle attack. I'm the only important flag that's really needed in this one is this --LM. So that's forcing it to give me the NTLMv1 hash and not the SSP hash. And so that's important to set, but otherwise we're just giving it ETH0 to listen on. Like I mentioned, it's a flat network that I'm playing with, so you're gonna get some busy crap in here.
No, this is not true.
What we're gonna attempt to do is we're gonna target this 2012 domain controller, and we're gonna see if we can get a hash similar to this one. And so, Deb, you want me to use DFS coercer first, or you want to see coercer?
Oh no!
It's your show.
All right, let's do let's go ahead and do this one. Okay, so I want to, so 46 is the Kali machine. The other machine, I have this written down someplace else.
I think 47 is 2012 -1.
It's not anymore. It used to be. And then I reset my router last night because it needed a firmware update. PSA, everyone. Periodically update the firmware on your routers.
Whoa. Be careful of that disclaimer. Review the changes.
Thinks you should. I'm just
review the firmware changes first, like in the change note, and then test it in a controlled environment, make sure it works, and then release to production.
The hills that you want to die on, Dev. What the fuck?
The hills I want to die on is making sure you don't turn down some client's environment midday because someone on the show said, hey, update your firmware.
If it's a home, like, don't go doing weird stuff.
Even at your home. You never had your wife yell at you because you took down the whole internet for a couple hours?
She wasn't home, okay? All right. So I'm running DFS course. I had administrator in here, but you can run this with a regular user account. So that's part of the cool and super scary stuff. Is at no point am I going to actually type in or have knowledge of a privileged account. So I'm a regular user account. I'm on the network right now. I'm allowed to run responder because it's just passively listening and it's asking people to send me hashes. And then this DFS coerce is attempting to authenticate to that domain controller in order to coerce it to talk back to us. Oops, now I forget if I typed the password already. I think I did.
You lack discipline.
That's what that log on failure means. Okay, so I believe this is the normal error message. We'll find out. Cool. So we got it. And I'm going to stop responder for now. So this is what happened when we ran the DFS course is we've convinced our server 12-1 to authenticate to us. And here is that challenge that Dev was talking about earlier. We configured responder to use that. You can edit the configuration file and tell it to use a static challenge instead of a random challenge. So that's what we did. So in theory, now we could basically copy this bad boy, throw it through a cracking rig, and attempt to get a hash from it.
Now, if you're wondering why Respondent doesn't do that natively, use that standard challenge code, is because you could create rules where you search for that challenge code being in your environment. And if you see it, you obviously know someone is doing something. So Respondent tends to, I think, generate a random one, and then they report to you back. Oh no, it just spits back out with the random generated code they have in there, so that way it looks more official.
Thanks for the tip.
Good call. Okay, So now let's see if I can remember the other steps I need to take. So I think I need one more. That's not the right one. Gonna make this one big again.
I really hope you're using SSH keys because otherwise you have no default password.
Wait a minute.
I honestly don't know. I mean, I know that I know that I have a password, but it's just Kali. So I don't know. I don't know why it's doing that. Oh no, I think it does it in this this MOBA Exterm thing does it. I can get rid of that too. I should make it look a little nicer. Okay. So I'm going to attempt to do the same sort of thing. So in this one, I'm going to set up the NTLM relay X. So NT. Oh man, I don't have it in my history, which means I have to type it. Okay, so I'm going to relay it to a target. That's why we're doing it live. I did practice this, but I knew I'm going to screw something up, which is the fun of it. All right, so I'm targeting which one?
IP address.
I need it needs to be. Does it need to be server name? No, in this case, it can be the IP. 268. So this is what I'm relaying it to. So I'm going to convince 12.1 to talk to me, and then I'm going to attempt to push it to 12-2, which is at the 22 IP. I'm running this remove mic flag and SMB2 support and delegate access.
Is it to have a double hyphen for the SMB2 support?
No, I don't know why.
Hmm.
I think this is right. So we'll try this. So without getting too crazy, so remove MIC is essentially known as, or is the flag that is the drop the mic vulnerability, which was patched 2-3 years ago. Thank you, Vandrel. I say I'm going to need the FQDN, so I'm going to have to fix that. So yes, drop the mic vulnerability. Unfortunately, NTLMv1 is not able to be patched. It does not require it. In layman's terms, my understanding of this vulnerability and what we're doing with this is we're going to coerce authentication via SMB, and then we're going to relay that to LDAP S. And so the mic is what's supposed to prevent you from relaying across protocols. And by running this drop the mic, it's telling it to ignore that. And that's probably a very simple explanation for it. Okay, and this is going to fail eventually. Okay. And let's try it. Okay, so now I don't need responder running, but I'm going to rerun this same DFS coerce. Okay, and I got that coerce, and I have a connection. Server started waiting for connection. So I got it to relay. There are no more targets. Now I don't remember what happened. Okay, so I got the server to, so I convinced server 1 to authenticate to me. I setting up this relay that was listening for it. It went ahead and it sent it to 2, and it did this delegate access. So okay, so I think I'm good. Let's do this real fast because we're gonna have to explain what we're doing with the delegate access. I didn't mention that. So the delegate access flag is what I had told NTLM Relay X to do. It's basically when you connect, what do you want me to do? Like now that I've authenticated. And so what I wanted it to do is it's performing a resource-based oh, did I screw it up? Darn it. Okay, anyway, we'll get back there because there's something else that's broken that I know won't work. Resource-based constrained delegation attack. So I've done it previously, so I think we can see it here. There is a value. It's not on this one. It's MSDS allowed to authenticate on behalf of other identities. So that's what we're attempting to set. Let's see if 2 has it set. I'm going to throw a disclaimer out here right now too, because I looked this up, but I didn't look it up too quickly. Oh no, now it is gone. That's interesting. I was going to say that I don't know how to get rid of it, but it seems like it got rid of itself at some point. Interesting. So it didn't work. It attempted to relay. Hey, Matt. I'm seeing certain pieces of chat fly through, but not a whole bunch. Okay, so let's go back to this, because I know part of the problem is going to be that the IPs have changed, and I cleared everything out of my hosts file. So even if I did give it FUDN instead of like an email address, it still would not have worked. So
your DNS and everything for the 2 DCs are all screwed up?
It should be. Now that I say that, it probably should be, because it got all jacked up. But let's find out what's going on.
What? Yes, you use a nano, people. Is that triggering anyone? No VI, no verminous?
What? You can smell it?
Okay. 5 dot. I'm going to add both of these. 16. Server 12.
First point of order, I use VI. I don't give a shit about anything but VI. I don't care about Vim or Emacs or whatever the hell your holy war is about. VI or die.
All right, can I?
And this is why we don't let Danny on the servers at all.
You should get me on those assessment calls. I'll give some assessment advice.
You could colon QW, was it colon WQ yourself?
You don't even know.
I can't remember. I haven't used a VI in ages.
No, it's
What
Q.
the fuck
it's
you
Q
gotta
ban
tell me?
if you want him to quit. Otherwise, he's just he's force saving himself. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
Those are the only 2 commands that I actually remember in VI. If I have to get into VI, I always have to look up something. Like it's how do I delete a line? I got stupid stuff. Anyway, I don't want to get into stupid Vim.
Right, the last time I used VI was 6 years ago, 7 years ago, and never again.
Okay, now we should know where we're going.
Oh, you put an @ in the...
Yeah, I put an @ in it.
I didn't even notice that.
Part of a fully qualified domain email address.
So
I've been messing.
The password that you're typing in here, you should probably tell people this is not the password for the server. This is just your password for...
It's just that user's password. Yeah, it's the regular user account password. And if I can't get that, okay, sweet, I did it that time. Thank you, Vandrel. All right, that's what you're supposed to see. So the last time it relayed it, or it attempted to relay it to my email address, and it didn't work. This time it did it, and it created me a computer account with a known password. And so if we look back on this bad boy and we go to our computers, here's the last one that I created. And then here's the one that just got created. So now that we know the account information for it, we can use it. And let's go to the domain controllers. And now this is where I get myself tripped up. So one of these 2 bad boys is configured for resource-based constrained delegation. This one is. Okay. Because that makes sense, because that's the one that we coerce the authentication for. So this was funny. Like this, what I was saying, I don't know how to fix this, right? Like earlier, I don't know what this is. It's this weird descriptor.
Double click on it.
Yeah, and then you get this. There's no editor registered to hand. You can do some PowerShell stuff, but anyway, I wanted to just show it here because last time it was set to not set. Let's see. Let's confirm that I'm not a liar and I didn't accidentally do something wrong. Yeah, so here, so server 2 has nothing set there. Server 1 is now configured for resource-based constrained delegation, which is going to allow us to do the next piece of the attack. So we've already essentially attacked the domain. And again, the only thing that I've done is logged in with a regular user account.
And that's just a domain user, no administrative privileges, no special
Correct.
groups.
Yeah, here's reg user. Reg user is a member of domain users. No other delegated access. This is a Raleigh newly created domain, so no other fun jazz in there.
No,
Okay, so I do have a couple notes about that. But let's go ahead and try to get this done, and then we can play a little bit more if we want to. Okay, now I'm running git not set. Actually, I think it's impacted still. I think so. VN. SIFs, and then we want the server 12.1
at.
I'm taking over a TV network.
Thanks for the help.
Finish up, honey, and get to sleep.
Time.
Okay, and now I'm going to impersonate. Actually, in this one, so let's impersonate this admin user instead of the default administrator. Either way, doesn't really matter. So admin user is a domain admin. And so we're going to attempt to impersonate that account.
Listen,
where
I'm
am I at
in
here?
big trouble. You know anything about computers?
And now we need to authenticate with this. So I'm going to copy that. Is that going to, okay, cool. Colon. And I probably going to have to put all this in quotes. Password. Okay.
Password.
And since I'm a little flustered, I'm probably going to mess up. How am I going to really have to escape that? I don't think I am. Screw it. We're going to try it.
I don't play well with others.
Oh, okay. I think I know what this error is too. But before we do that, I want to explain a little bit about what we're trying to do here and what we've already done. So the previous attack set up resource-based constrained delegation. We haven't really explained that, and I'm not going to go super in depth about it because, to be perfectly honest, every time I learn about anything related to delegation attacks in Active Directory, I forget half of it, like after I've learned it. So your traditional delegation, or your unconstrained delegation, or your conditional, or your conditional delegation, acts in such a way where you are allowing that server to authenticate to another server. So the easy way to think of it, it's like a web server front end is allowed to delegate to like a back end and authenticate to that back end SQL server, for instance. When we set it up in reverse, which is what we just did with resource-based constrained delegation, we're now saying that this computer account that we just created is allowed to impersonate or act on behalf of the domain controller. And so that's the power that we're leveraging right now. And that's why it's going to end up allowing us to impersonate the admin user.
So I just noticed you put the single quotes around the whole thing and not broke it up based on the colon, because it's two different parts. So you're basically saying that's, yeah.
I think it's fine either way, but we can try it.
I
think I know what else is going on with it.
And you didn't specify the domain.
What?
You got to put the domain, what is it, o.ad in front of the user. I mean, the computer.
Yeah, you are right. You are right.
Because that's why I said you can't find, it's an empty domain. Not there. Not impersonate.
Not there.
So you have to put it by the computer. You're impersonating that, you got to put it on the computer object.
Like right here?
Yeah.
So.
And then the slash, and the slash. Yeah, there you go. I think that's what you have to do.
All right, I'm getting a different error now. Unable to connect to. So I think this. I think I fixed this again with the host file. Like it doesn't know where to go. Like it doesn't know where to go for old.ad. So I think I have to give that.
X or there it is.
All I see is Barangel with an @ sign with some stuff, and I don't know if that's me doing something wrong or if he's making fun of me.
I would just copy whatever he puts in chat and just put it in the command line. I'm sure it's relevant.
I can't.
Oh wait, hold on. Let me impersonate Dando.
Here, let me go ahead and copy what. Damn it, Matt! Stop talking.
Shut up, Matt.
Here,
I'm trying to do a show here.
Exactly what he put in chat, and I'm gonna.
Whatever.
No,
whatever syntax command Banjel ever gives you in life, just copy it and run it.
Here we go. Cancel. All right, and then I'm gonna paste. That doesn't work.
What are you trying to do?
Okay, paste. Oh shit! I selected that. Okay, whatever. I don't know, Dev.
I'm so confused what you're trying to do right here.
Well, okay. So what I'm trying to do, as everyone, all right, is I'm getting distracted by chat. Is what's happening. Okay, I'm gonna tell it just one of the domain controllers is old.ad. So I think it needs to know where to go.
Yeah, paste that command. We'll just.
I don't know. That looks like a reverse shell to me.
Oh my god.
All right, cool. That worked. See, look how smart I am. Okay, so all right, so we've authenticated as a computer account. We've impersonated, or at this point, we've created a ticket. Right? I think that sounds right. We're going to call that a ticket for this admin user, and so it exported it into this admin user cache file, and now I can use that. I need to set. I don't have my. I'm missing a command.
Just do it.
Hold on. Bear with me for a second. I know where it's at.
Now!
And while I'm taking it from here,
Come on!
this in chat, because here's another resource.
I'm in kind of a hurry.
From our buddy Dirk Jan. He also wrote this up. I don't know if he was the first one to do some of this. If somebody knows in chat, let me know if he's the one that kind of invented this. I know he has some of his hands in stuff around the drop the mic too, where I think I read something that as soon as it was patched within like 2 days, he had a different vulnerability, which was why there's like a second drop the mic. So what do I need to do? That's what I need. Okay, so here I need to set this to use the file that I just got. Okay, I think that's happy. And now I can do some secrets dumping.
Yes!
Sweet. I've got. I don't have the right one. Oh, this is actually kind of cool. I'm going to put this in here just so I remember. It's not going to work, but.
Control C. Control C.
I got it.
Control D. Control D. Don't do Control D. That was a joke.
It doesn't matter.
How was the stream, Brandon? Oh, it was fine until Dev told me to hit Control D and it closed everything.
It was just disconnected from this session. That's all.
I think I can just do DC. I'm gonna have to tell it where though, aren't I? So I'm gonna give it the old AD. Just DC and NTLM. Does that work? The K is supposed to pull the information from that admin user cache. Valid principal
cache file is
syntax.
not found.
What did I fuck up?
Who the hell am I?
What? Oh, you're right. It does say cache file not found. Did I type it wrong?
It's your demo. I mean,
Okay.
one would have
Thanks-
thought you took this as a
Thanks
proper
for the
amount of
support.
time.
I did. I had it working. Look, I ran LL like you like.
Who didn't write? Who uses LS anymore?
Shh.
Please in the chat tell me if you use LS versus LL.
Are we not supposed to use LS?
If you're like 75 years old and this,
I'm
lost.
I'm closer to 75 than I am to 0.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I think you're missing a C
Thank you.
Where? There's
in
three.
the export CC name, isn't it?
What's wrong?
Oh,
with
you're right.
LS?
Look at you. There's a lot of C's in that, actually.
There's a lot of C's in this chat room.
What?
Oh, cool. It didn't work. It liked the thing. How did I fix this last time? Did I have to give it a DC? Let's try this.
Yes, Dal.
Oh, I have to give it the
No!
correct DC, possibly. Let's try.
Yes, LL is an alias and it's amazing. I love it. LS-LA.
Negative.
Type.
There, we did it. Ah, look at that. Take that, demo gods. Just dumped it.
That is funny.
All right, so I had to specify the server that had the. I don't know why I had to specify the server that had the constrained delegation or the
Because
resource based on it, but
because it's
worked.
going to the old AD is not is just a domain. You need to actually specify the DC that you're going to hit. The computer.
well, I did that in 2 above, and it didn't do it. So it did not work against this domain controller, but it did work against the other one. Yeah, because constrained delegation. Got it.
Yeah, but
See, that's what I said. That's what I said.
Okay, yeah, because the constraint delegation is on the 1, not on 2. That's right.
Okay.
You son of a
So-
bitch.
With what little time we have left, because holy crap, I did not think that was going to take me as long as it did.
You can go over there's nothing. Today's a very relaxed day. You can do whatever you want.
Cool. See, and here I am like a chump just drinking water today too.
I mean, that should have been this exercise the whole time. Is see how far you could go as you take shots for every time you mess up.
Jeez. we'll save that for save that for an 8-hour stream or something. Oh man, I am not good enough at hacking to even think about that shit.
You are
Okay, so
disgusting.
let's recap what this means, just in case anyone in the chat that helped me out with all of this. Thank you, Vandril, Matt. I see Jake's in there now too. So this is Active Directory. So, excuse me.
The
What's that?
database.
Lasagna. Yeah. Okay. Technically the database. Technically just the user accounts and the computer accounts and the Curve PGT account. So to, I guess, briefly just recap from a high level, the only account that I had access to was that regular user account. The domain controllers are configured to use NTLMv1. There has to be 2 domain controllers because we're relaying one to the other. But what company has a single domain controller? I guess that might be a good mitigation in place to add. Is, hey, you know what? You can't relay from one DC to the other if you only got one. Just kidding. Don't do that. Domains don't like that. Just turn off NTLMv1.
Or change your Curve GT account to some ambiguous name.
We have seen that.
Did you say
That's a joke.
Did you say ambiguous?
Ambiguous.
You said unambiguous.
Unambiguous. Ubiquitous.
Shut up, Danny. Anyway, don't do that. That was a
Don't
joke.
do that either. Thanks for derailing me.
Yeah, Danny. Good job.
Let's do that. All right, yeah. What do you want to do?
If you think I'm derailing you just talking to you, you should hear what sounds I'm playing.
Let's do the that's
I like how you always come back to us, Brandon. It's like, okay, what we're gonna do next? And it's like, is this your show?
this is the only reason you were invited is to be helpful. Okay. And so
Why?
Abby,
If that was your premise, why would you
that
ask
was
somebody
never
like
agreed
Dev?
upon. I never agreed to anything as such.
all right, let's set up responder again. Let's do this real quick because I had mentioned this and I played with this for way longer than I should have. So I don't know if anyone in chat has insight into this too. But when I first started trying to do this attack, I was trying to attack the server 19. So I thought to myself, okay, didn't server 19 like have some different hardening stuff? Like, and so I thought rather than figure that out, because reading the internet is hard, I just went ahead and spun up a 2012 domain and boom, it worked like first time. And I wasn't even getting step 1. So on server 19, if I were to try to perform just the same sort of DFS coercion, and I run coercer here, and I give it, let's see, 16. Wait, nope, 21. 16 was the one that worked. Regular user, same user exists. Primark 1, 2, 3. Oh shit! Now they know I have password.
This is ridiculous.
So, I mean, okay, I'm sorry that that's really hard to see nothing because that looks like a lot of something. That's my bad. We'll try this again. Actually, let's run coercer. This is fun. Oh, sorry.
Wait,
No
what are you trying to do
problem.
now? I wasn't paying attention.
I'm running coercer instead of DFS coerce. So DFS coerce runs like one type of coercion against this net DFS protocol. Coercer runs it against a lot of protocols. Was 21 right? Yeah, 21 was right.
Well, I see the problem right there.
The domain
Brandon
name.
Rocks. Yeah,
That's the domain name, bruh. That's not the problem. Oh, the problem is coercer. Oh, whoever had a capital C in coercer? Come on, man.
For Christ's sake.
Also, there's got to be a way. There should be a switch in this that I don't have to hit continue every time. But anyway, it ran something. It what the hell happened here? Let's try this again.
I have neither the time nor the inclination to
Here.
explain
All right,
myself.
Continue. Try again. Try again. Try again. Try again. Try again. So we should see a hash fly in here, but all we're seeing is this weird AirPlay stuff from somebody's iPhone who's connected, who I'm like sending packets to and shit. So I'm trying all these different types of protocols. Now you crashed. No, you didn't. So none of this is, no coercion is taking place right now against 2019.
So always continue. I think is a switch based off of what Brando does.
Oh, sweet. That'd be nice. Although it just sprays the crap out of it, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's gonna be amazing on your environment.
So this is well, shit. Let's break it. So NTLM is set up. So, but regardless of that, it should still be coercing the NTLMv2 hash or like whatever that is convinced. It's just not doing anything. So no coercion is being allowed. And so I was messing around with all of and you can see it here, all these SMB server settings where I'm like, oh, it's got to be like SMB signing by default is turned on. And so I was trying to turn things on and turn them off and couldn't figure out exactly what it was until I did this. So let's do it. Let's see if it actually works live. So to enable SMBv1, so that's what I'm thinking, right? Is SMBv1, there's something to do with it being enabled. Can I run? So this is get SMB server configuration. Sorry if you can't really see this. But by default in 2019, SMBv1 protocol is turned off. And not
As
even
it should be.
Not even enabled unless you have to go in here and actually install the SMBv1 by hand. This might make me reboot, but we can try it without a reboot and see.
I mean, you should just be able to stop, and then restart the service, and it should be fine.
It installs a couple services, So it installs like the and one of my best my oh man, I went down so many stupid rabbit holes trying to figure this out. But this is it. Basically just installing this feature does it. Even if you reboot, we ensure that that's still false. So you can allow SMB to exist, SMBv1 to exist, but disable it. So you're preventing the protocol from actually answering. And then when you configure these group policy settings for the difference between these digital signing always versus digital signing if client agrees. So if client agrees only works on SMB v1, always is for 2 and 3. So I learned that when I was looking things up. Anyway, I screwed with all that stuff. Let's rerun this, confirm it still says false. Let's see if this works without a reboot, and then running, and we can just hit it a couple more times. Nothing yet. This makes it so hard. On the next show, Dev teaches me how to properly segment my network.
You want answers?
Not yet. Let's go ahead. Let's close
because
that.
this is actually not a good way to test your environment, because I think you have everything in line in a flat environment. So that's why you're seeing traffic from everywhere, and you're not able to isolate things properly, and things can actually flow out of, like, you really want to control the flow of data and what's being set up. And you also want to create firewalls, multi-tier firewall systems, so that way you can fully segment your personal and office space, and give you controls like that. And you can even do most of that in your, I think you're using EXI, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can do a couple bits in EXI, and then you can update your firewall to then only, like, basically DMZ the whole thing outside of it. Well, not really DMZ, because DMZ does a lot more than that. But basically break it off and then do like a bridge, and then you can connect two networks. And if you want to do like a LAN tap and stuff like that, you can also do that piece as well.
And I've done something before when I've just created like a private network, and that seems to work okay until I get to the point where I'm attempting to load like a new tool in Kali, or I want to run like a Windows update, or I need to get something into that system, and I'm only on an isolated private network. At that point, then I need to set up a separate gateway that's dual homed and set up a firewall or whatever, right? And that's what I just don't know how to do.
I mean, it really depends. When you talk about network segmentation, you really got to understand what is it you're trying to get accomplished, what you have connected, what you want to maintain establishment between networks, and bridging the network segmentations. So for most people, they want to bridge, they want to isolate the IoT from their standard device, but then they have like a Roku or Amazon TV, Google TV, whatever. So they have to then set up like a MDNS system, and then they want to then allow traffic for multicast DNS to be broadcast between the two segmentations. So it depends. I mean, we're going to be going through all that in our home lab series, where we break down things, as well as break down how to set up a transparent bridge, then to do a P capture or something like that, but make it transparent, so that way the end-to-end device, the device don't know that you're capturing packets off of it. And stuff like
might
that.
Not be
that's useful for when you're trying
might
to
not
do
be
a clean capture, because if you do like any type of capture where you're putting an inline device and it detects that, it can then change its behavior patterns and stuff like that, as well as just break different things if you're not setting up your bridge properly. So we're gonna get into all that fun stuff.
Okay, so I got it. I don't know why I showed up twice. I got the hash. So I got it, just the hash for the 19 server. So all I did was reboot it after I installed SMB v1. Let's see if it actually enabled it.
And you didn't reboot?
I did.
Oh, you did? I wasn't paying attention.
But I rebooted like right before we play. Yeah, so it's still false. So SMB protocol is still, it's installed but not enabled, and I changed nothing else. So there's something more to this, where like just installing that feature should not be doing stuff. And I know the feature also installs and adds like the old school like home network stuff, like this stuff, where it searches for the other computers on the network, the network sharing or whatever it's called. So it installs that by default.
Yeah, because even if it has
SMBv1,
even if it's going through a negotiation for communication and it downgraded, for it to downgrade, that would have to be enabled, wouldn't it?
thanks, investigator trick. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. I've even gone in and like found the services. So I've disabled the service for the network sharing piece. I've disabled any of the other services that get installed when you install it. So there's some underlying piece that that this triggers, and then as soon as I remove it, it undoes it. So I probably needed, if I really want to waste more time, like dig into why it's doing that. I'm going to have to do a little bit more testing of what all is changed under the covers.
Just hang in there, baby. You're doing
Can you,
great. I'm
can you
proud
open
of
up your services and see if you have what how the SMB services is established or connected? I wonder if there's two of them.
Like what service?
SMB.
Name. I don't know what this service is for SMB. Is it like, I forget what it was.
I'm not a Windows guy. You guys are.
I don't know. There's no like there's nothing that's like saying, oh, here it is.
SMB,
It is
yeah.
workstation. So workstation is creating something with SMB protocol. I wonder if I stop that. I don't know. But I've done it. I've like compared this one to this one, which has never had that installed. And so if I check so like this one still has that workstation service running as well. So modify something in it. I don't know. That goes beyond. That's beyond the scope of today.
Why
Can you
in
go
the
back to your
fuck would I
PowerShell
ever
command?
do
I just wanna
that
see
ever?
what some of the sentences were. Can you do get -Windows optional features online feature name SMB1 protocol? Yeah, I'll paste it for you. I know that was a mouthful.
And Windows accepted language.
Windows optional feature.
Optional feature.
Yep. Space hyphen online. Space hyphen feature name SMB1 protocol.
SMB v1 or just one?
This one. Yep. Protocol.
Shut up, Morty.
Yeah, it's enabled.
And I don't know if this will let me copy to and from that, but we can test this one too. Well, that's the feature I just installed. That's just a command line version of. So disabled. Enabled. Yeah. That's the same thing that I just did through the GUI though.
I'm not a GUI guy. I'm sorry.
All right, let's close shop. Let's close up shop.
Yeah, I wonder if you disable that. No, because we disable it then. We just uninstall. Yeah. I'm trying to think what else that could be. That's interesting.
Oh, I forgot one other thing. I was going to do this.
Oh shit! Oh no!
Oh shit! I know. Here, I'm just going to do it on my machine.
Oh god, what is he going to do?
NTLM.
Are you going off script?
I'm going off script, brah. Dude, we haven't been on script the whole time. Okay, so if you just like Google NTLM hash generator and just blindly click on whatever you see first.
What kind of device is that?
It'll let you. It's a joke. I'm using this code beautify.org. So whatever. I'm not on my Trademark machine. I can do what I want. In my flat network. I'm generating an NTLM hash with a known password. So what I wanted to do is run this secrets dump, and I think I run user administrator, and then I give it a colon and the hash. So that's the hash that came out of that NTLM generator. And then give it what I want to connect to.
At
Hate you. Okay, what did I mess up? You. It's not you. It's, I think I have to specify user.
It probably has a
let's see
roofie.
what the... I don't see user. Wait. You probably got to put
Something
SAP.
like that.
No.
I can't remember. Here, I can pull it up.
What's hyphen? Oh, you got to actually specify for hashes too.
It's just you.
Fine, whatever.
No, that should work. And then
Okay.
that. Oh, I have to give it a domain. I don't know why I didn't like you. Oh, it's because, yeah. no,
Everyone
never
likes
mind.
me.
I screwed that up. You were right. I'm not going to say that very loud, though. Administrator. It's the, I'm using the syntax for SMB map, which I was playing with earlier, too. We all need to agree on some syntax. And I do need to give it a hash. It is
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like
instead of password.
And the reason he's put in nothing before the colon is because he's not putting an LM hash. He's just using his NT hash. So okay, so just DC.
Okay.
It's you typed it wrong.
It's not Al, the AD.
Yeah.
Okay, there it goes. All right. So the reason I wanted to show that real fast too is that when you specify the hash, this administrator at old AD, if I was able to crack the NTLMv1 hash that we talked about at the very beginning of the domain controller, I could have skipped all the other steps. I would have captured the hash, cracked it, gained an NTLM version of that hash, and instead of administrator here, I just put in the domain controller name, and I run this command, and I perform a DC sync attack. Done.
You lie!
So that's the super easy version of this attack.
Yeah, I don't think most people actually go through the effort of actually cracking it anymore because you could do all this stuff with it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you can just relay it. But you can do all this past the hash stuff with it like crazy. And that's really why I wanted to get the look up assless chaps. Yeah, I'm not going to Google that, Bandrel. Okay.
He doesn't have to. He has them.
Wait, let me do that on my Trimark laptop. Hold on.
I Googled shit on my Trimark laptop just to see if Jared ever sees it.
Fool me.
Yeah,
No,
Jared tells me this all the time too, Danny.
It's that's a legit. It's like a local repository where you can do the same sort of thing. Is that right? Yeah, he's trying to put a link in there too. I can't see your link.
The last person I'm
I
giving
found
link
that.
privileges to is Bandrel.
Yeah. Unless he comes on stream.
He's supposed
It's a
to. I don't
new
know if
attack.
we ever actually officially scheduled him, but I think.
All right, fine. I'm Googling assless chaps.
And with that, that'll be the last thing that gets mentioned on the show. Thank you everybody for joining. We are going to be back next week in our lead up to DEF CON with who we're going to have. Russ Vertigo is going to come on, talk about some DEF CON history. I, for some reason, am obsessed with reaching a Twitch affiliate for this show, and we have to do like 30 more minutes this month to get affiliate, and then we can put more clips up, and it gives us some other stuff. So we're going to be back on Monday. I'm going to do something extra. And then by Friday, or actually whatever day Russ is actually free, We are going to talk about some DEF CON history in the lead up to Vegas. And also Steve Reagan is on next week, Steve D3, anybody who knows him. And how could you not? He'll be our guest on Friday, I believe. And yeah, other than that, they're gonna spin up our new series on building a lab environment. We got a lot coming. We're gonna be doing a lot in the coming weeks after Vegas and things like that. So as always, this one's not going on Spotify because nobody's gonna see
we gotta do win of the week.
Do we have to?
Yeah.
No, Jake's not here.
Yeah, Jake's not have to.
Somebody boot
Well,
him
he already
from the
put his in. Jake. So for those who don't know, Jake mentioned that he has surgery in the chat. It's for his hair transplant. He's getting hair. He wants to go for that Danny look.
Thank you. Oh, well, we could do wins if we want. I don't. Brandon, what's your win of the week?
I'm happy that Jake didn't die. No, I'm happy that I'm happy that the demo gods cooperated enough to actually complete the intended demo here. I pray for anyone who's still running NTLMv1 in their environment.
Dev, what's your week?
Well, I mean, I did take out extra life insurance on Jake for this couple of days, but I guess we're gonna have to cancel that. We're gonna have to cancel that. Thanks, Jake, for screwing that up.
No, keep it because he's gonna do something else dumb.
Yeah, maybe. Mine is just finally I got one of my kids out of the house, so I'm down to 3 kids in my house. If anyone wants another kid, let me know. I got a 2-for-1 sale going.
Yeah, mine's similar. I discovered that one of my son's friends lives really close, and his dad's like, "Yeah, have him come over." So I've been shoveling off my kid on somebody else's parents for the past 3 days. They asked me, they're like, "Hey, we're going to a trampoline park. We're going to go do this. Like, does Jackson want to come with us?" And I was like, "Absolutely, he does." And so that's been fun.
No, I actually got one of my kids to move out.
Oh, like move out, like permanently.
Yeah.
I forgot how old you are.
I'm like 80.
Yeah, dude, you're
90.
really fucking old. All right, well that about covers that. As always, trimarksecurity.com/services for all of our assessments, Active Directory, Azure AD, and VMware vSphere. And stop interrupting my closing. God damn it, Dev. What?
One other
What
thing
is
I
so
like to
important?
mention.
Dev, what is so important that you have to interrupt my cadence on the closing?
I just want to say bye to everyone. No. If there's anything you want us to demo or do that you said, to help you either learn or for us to do a deeper dive, let us know. Reach out to us, let us know, and we could definitely add more content around that area. We definitely have the home labs. We have some other stuff with VM that is not home lab-ish, but like segmentation networks kind of stuff. So if there's something else you want to see, let us know. That's all. That's all I want to say. I'm trying to help you help you. That's all.
That was so worth it. Thank you for interrupting my closing statements. All right, I'm getting.
I'm trying to get you extra minutes. I'm trying to get you extra minutes on that, so you only have to do like 10 minutes. On
I am. I'm keeping track, and I'm like, oh, now I only have to do like a 25-minute thing on Monday. It's just one of those gamifying things that now it's annoying that we don't have it, but no, we're gonna get it. All right, for me, myself, and I, Brandon and Dev, and thank you everybody in chat. We will talk to you all on Monday.
Oh wait, I'm just kidding. Close it.
No, I don't give a shit what you have to say.
No one does, Brandon.
You just talked for an hour and
you screwed up the demo. You screwed up the demo like 5 times, Brandon.
Did he?
No, I didn't. I got it done. I got it done. Sneaky space.
I was too busy. You guys don't know, but I was playing sound effects the entire time. You can't hear, but everybody else could.
Everybody else get it, hear the sound effects?
No,
what
they
sound
could.
effects were you playing?
You're playing like fart noises when I'm.
No, mostly like drops from like Arnold and stuff because it was just me on camera for
I think
an hour and a half.
Jake is online. Jake, you there?
No, I'm hanging up. Goodbye.